Good afternoon, and welcome to our series of webinars focused on bringing you information about COVID-19, infection control, and other nursing home related topics. The information in these weekly webinars is geared toward long-term care and skilled nursing facilities, but we encourage everyone who's interested to attend. My name is Kathy Caudill. I'm a communications specialist with Quality Insights. Today's webinar is part 2 of our Back to Basics QAPI Infection Control Microlearn series. And today we will view and discuss episode 2 of that series, Turning Insights into Action. We invite you to join us every Wednesday for more of our weekly webinars. Next week's topic is part 3 of this series, Intro to QAPI Data. And if you're interested in joining, that will be the same time and place next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Everyone has entered today's meeting on mute, but we will have a Q&A following the presentation. If you have questions or comments, please submit them using either the chat or the Q&A tool in your Zoom menu. And now I'll introduce our speaker today, Patty Austin. Patty is a quality improvement specialist at Quality Insights. She has been working in the skilled nursing arena for the past 30 years, starting her career as a nursing assistant and leaving the front lines as a director of nursing. Patty has been with Quality Insights since 2016. She considers it a privilege to be able to interact with so many different nursing facilities to help create lasting change within their communities. Patty, thank you for joining us again today.
Thanks, Kathy, and welcome to everyone this afternoon for episode 2 in our Back to Basics series, Infection Control. So last week we did a short microlearn session that focused on an overview of two of the 5 key elements within the QAPI framework. There was a special focus during that session on design and scope and governance and leadership. We also introduced all of you to our fictional nursing home team that we thought would kind of help bring the concepts that we covered to life. And today we're going to continue to explore the 5 elements by looking at building block 3 within that framework. That building block is called feedback, data systems, and monitoring. So we're going to look at ways that we can turn the insights that we garner through looking at our data into action, and how using standardized processes like the 5 whys or PDSA cycles can help your QAPI program reach its goals. And we will again meet with our fictional nursing home team and watch as the concepts that we talk about today are put into action. In coming weeks, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into performance improvement projects for episode 3 and sustaining progress in episode 4. And then once all of the webinars are concluded, they will be available for on-demand viewing on our YouTube channel. Due to the short time investment that's needed for each of these microlearns, we're really hoping that you're able to use the episodes to help to educate your staff on QAPI and kind of take it to the streets, so to speak. So for now, let's turn it back to Kathy and take a look at feedback, data systems, and monitoring.
All right, thank you, Patty. I'm going to hit play on this video and let me know if you have any problems with hearing the audio.
Hi, my name is Patty Austin. I'm a quality improvement specialist with Quality Insights. I'd like to welcome you today to Microlearn Episode 2, Turning Insights into Action in our series Back to Basics QAPI, Infection Control. Today we'll dive into Element 3, Feedback, Data Systems, and Monitoring. In this episode, we'll cover setting clear goals, using meaningful data, and applying tools like the 5 whys to find the root cause. You'll also watch 2 role-playing scenarios. One shows the misuse of the 5 whys, and the other demonstrates its effective application. Whether you're joining for the first time or building on Microlearn 1, there's plenty to learn and apply, so let's get started. Although today's episode can stand alone to focus your attention on feedback, data systems, and monitoring, the series itself speaks to all 5 of the essential elements of a strong QAPI plan. Improving quality begins with consistent and reliable processes, and that is the heart of Element 3. It emphasizes gathering feedback from staff, residents, and families tracking care and outcomes using performance indicators, and investigating issues to create effective prevention plans. Think of it like planning a trip. You need to know where you are before you decide where you want to go. Feedback and data act as your map, while reliable processes ensure that everyone stays on track. An effective QAPI program thrives on using a wide range of data sources. The possibilities are nearly endless. Everything from tracking monthly respiratory infections to noticing patterns like bingo games being better attended after tomato soup is served for lunch can contribute to understanding the larger picture. Key areas to focus on include clinical data such as infections, pressure ulcers, falls, and high-risk medication use, as well as feedback from complaints, resident input, and caregiver satisfaction surveys. Monitoring outcomes like hospitalization, care plan compliance, and state surveys provide a different piece to the puzzle, and workforce data like staffing patterns or injuries are also essential for improving facility operations. However, collecting data is only the first step. To make it actionable, we must organize it to reveal trends, set specific goals, such as reducing respiratory infections, and regularly compare our performance against benchmarks. By doing so, we turn raw data into meaningful insights that inform solutions to drive lasting improvement. Monitoring QAPI involves gathering feedback and performance data and then using tools like the 5 whys to uncover root causes. The process begins with collecting information in a consistent and reproducible way. Next, you analyze the data and compare the results to internal or external benchmarks and identify patterns. Finally, you will need to communicate your findings through reports or dashboards. It's important to include everyone's voice at each step, ensuring that the entire team stays informed and empowered to improve care. New data is the start of your story, and your goal is the end of the story. But what happens in the middle is where the real work takes place. Tools like the 5 whys are crucial in this middle phase. They help to uncover root causes and guide your progress. In the next slide, we're going to watch a team struggle with the 5 whys. Pay close attention to how assumptions and distractions derail their journey, making it harder to reach their goal. In this role play, we'll observe a nursing home team trying to use the 5 whys tool to address an increase in residents needing assistance with ADLs and some worsening mobility scores. While their intentions are good, watch how the team struggles to stay focused and logical, leading to a less productive discussion. Here are the roles being played. We have Lucy Entire, the administrator. She's leading the discussion and trying to drive the 5 whys process. Ima On the Ball, the director of nursing, brings a clinical perspective to the problem. Joy Fullheart, the activities coordinator, is always ready to add her perspective. And Les Have-A-Snack, the dietitian, offers insights into how nutrition might be affecting the residents' health. Pay close attention to how the team approaches the process and where they veer off track. Hi, everyone. We have seen a sharp rise in residents needing help with ADLs and declining mobility scores. I think maybe we should use the 5 whys to figure out why this is happening.
Okay, I'll get us started. Why are residents struggling more with their ADLs?
Well, maybe they aren't eating enough. Nutrition does affect strength.
Well, why in the world aren't they eating enough?
They have been skipping bingo lately. It's their favorite activity, and maybe that's stressing them out.
Why are they skipping bingo?
Could it be the chairs in the bingo hall? They're not as comfy as the ones in the dining room.
Well, why don't we have more comfy chairs in the bingo hall?
Maybe the maintenance team prefers watching football instead of fixing things.
So you're telling me declining mobility and ADL issues are caused by the football season?
As we saw in the previous example, the 5 whys process was used incorrectly, and the root cause of worsening ADLs was mistakenly identified as football season. This highlights how easy it is to jump to conclusions or get distracted if we don't ask the right questions. To stay on track, it's essential to be specific and build each question from the previous answer. Stick to the facts and avoid assumptions. If the team does stray, gently redirect the conversation and document each step for clarity and consistency. Allowing the 5 whys tool to be done ineffectively over time can have a negative impact on the end goal of creating staff buy-in for what you want to become an expected part of your QAPI plan. As you begin to use this process, it's important to recognize that not all attempts are going to be successful. Acknowledging that with your team builds on the principle of creating a just culture as a strong leader. With practice, the 5 whys becomes a natural and powerful tool for problem solving. In the next example, we'll see how these principles help uncover the true root cause more effectively. In this next role play, we'll see the nursing home team apply the 5 whys more effectively to address the increase in residents needing assistance with ADLs and worsening mobility scores. This time, the team stays focused and logical, asking targeted why questions to uncover a root cause. Once they identify the issue, they take it a step further by transitioning into a Plan, Do, Study, Act, or PDSA cycle to create a solution. Watch how the team works together to not only understand the problem, but also develop a structured plan to address it. We have the return of Ima on the ball, or DON, and she's talking with Ivana Help You, the nurse, and Mo Core Strength, the physical therapist.
Hi, everyone. Our latest data shows significant increases in residents needing help with activities of daily living and worsening mobility over the past 6 months. Why do we think that is happening now?
Well, I compared the list of residents needing more help with the ADLs with the list of residents who have had COVID over the last 6 months, and a surprising number of residents are on both lists.
Well, that certainly could be our root cause. Why are residents who had COVID experiencing more issues, though?
COVID might have caused lasting effects that impact strength and mobility.
Why are these effects lingering for so long?
It could be related to long COVID.
Why haven't we considered this earlier?
Well, we weren't specifically monitoring physical changes post-COVID recovery. Once the resident no longer had COVID, they dropped off of the radar.
Why are we letting people drop off the radar like that?
We assumed that once a resident recovered and was COVID negative, that they were in the clear. We don't have any processes in place to monitor changes after COVID.
Why haven't we updated our protocols to include targeted interventions for post-COVID residents?
We didn't realize that there was a trend between COVID and functional declines until now, so we have not updated our protocols yet.
Why don't we try a PDSA? I think it could look like this. For plan, we could begin tracking ADL and mobility scores specifically for post-COVID residents. We should develop therapy and exercise routines targeting strength and mobility. For do, we implement the routines for newly recovered COVID residents. For study, we compare data on ADLs and mobility declines before and after the intervention. And for ACT, we refine the protocols based on outcomes and expand the program to all residents with functional declines.
Now that sounds like a plan.
Let's do it.
In this role play, we saw the team use the 5 whys effectively to uncover that long COVID was contributing to worsening mobility and ADL needs. They then transitioned into a Plan, Do, Study, Act cycle to create a targeted solution. This example shows how focused questioning and collaboration can lead to clear, data-driven solutions that improve care. In this episode, we explored how feedback, data systems, and monitoring are essential to a strong QAPI program. We highlighted the importance of asking the right questions and how tools like the 5 Whys can help uncover root causes. The 5 Whys isn't just a problem-solving tool. It's a method for collecting and analyzing data in real time, helping your team to identify meaningful trends. With practice, it becomes second nature, guiding your process without relying on forms or templates. When combined with approaches like PDSA cycles, the insights gained can lead to sustainable improvements. Remember, it's not just about identifying problems, it's about taking action to create solutions. Thank you for joining Back to Basics QAPI, Infection Control, Microlearn Episode 2. Let's continue building a culture of continuous improvement to enhance the quality of care for our residents. You can revisit Microlearn Episode 1 anytime for a refresher on QAPI, and stay tuned for Microlearn Episodes 3 and 4, where we'll dive deeper into QAPI principles with our nursing home team. If you would like to explore these topics in greater detail, reach out to your quality improvement specialist. Together, let's strengthen our QAPI programs.
All right, that is the end of that episode. I believe, Patty, you said you wanted to say something once we finish that episode.
Thanks, Kathy. So we are truly hoping that you're finding these kind of high-level overviews helpful and find a benefit to being able to visualize the concepts that we're covering by using these scenarios. And, you know, as a little aside, as I was listening to this for, as you might imagine, the X number of times I've watched this presentation so far, I want to say that root cause analysis seems like a very simple concept, and seems like you ask the question, you keep asking the question until you get the answer. But really, it's not simple. It really is a skill that requires practice. And I know that the scenario, the poor scenario that we showed in our microlearn seems really far-fetched. However, there is an example I wanted to give you guys from my own personal experience 10 years ago that I continue to see in nursing homes today as we're teaching people about using the 5 Whys and using it in the correct way. If you think about a typical problem for all of us falls on a dementia unit, right? And you ask the average nursing assistant on that unit why people are falling, you're going to get an answer like, they're falling because they're standing up before I can get there. If you say, why are they standing up before you get there? They're probably going to say, because they don't remember to wait. If you ask them why they're not waiting for you, you're going to get an answer that's true, because they have Alzheimer's. If you ask them why they have Alzheimer's, it's going to be because they're old, and they're old because they took care of themselves when they were young and they stayed healthy. So in that example, you come down to people are falling on the dementia unit because they kept themselves healthy enough to get old. And obviously that's not what we're looking for. But I've watched many facilities at this point practice asking those why questions in a very targeted and focused way, and watched the success really take over the culture of the building. I've watched nursing assistants become excited about being part of that process. I've watched it solve problems that facilities did not think were solvable. But it does take your willingness to practice that technique and then accept the fact that it's not going to work out for you every time right off the bat. But with practice, you will become successful. And as always, if you guys want to discuss the 5 Whys or any QAPI concept further, this is what we love to do. Please just give us a call and we will be happy to talk about it more with all of you. And with that, I am happy to take any questions you might have.
Great, thank you, Patty. If anyone has a question or comment, please submit it using the chat or the Q&A tool in your Zoom menu. And you can also raise your hand if you'd like to ask your question out loud. And while we're waiting, I'd again like to invite everybody to next week's webinar, which of course is going to be part 3 of this series, and that will be about Intro to QAPI data. And so that will be the same time and place next Wednesday at 2 p.m. So if you can join us, we would be happy to see you there. And I'd also like to say that if you're looking for the links to our webinar invites, we send them in our newsletter we send out every Friday called the Last Minute Lowdown. And if you'd like to receive that newsletter but don't think you're on the mailing list, you can email me at ccaudell@qualityinsights.org and I will get you on that list. And I will put my email in the chat along with Patty's. And I don't see any questions so far. There's Patty's contact. And there's mine. And let's see. I believe we're not going to have any questions today. Patty, did you have anything else you wanted to add before we wrap up?
I don't think so, Kathy, other than, again, the open invitation to give us a call. Those 5 whys discussions are really interesting when you pull together your team of people and we get on the phone and do a 5 whys process all there together. So don't hesitate if you have any questions to let us know. We're happy to help.
Well, thank you, Patty. In that case, I think I can go ahead and wrap us up. Before we sign off, I'd like to ask everyone here to please answer a short evaluation of today's webinar. It is a little different than our usual one. There are a couple of questions that are specific to today's microlearn, and it's not anonymous. However, your information will not be shared outside of our organization. If you have a couple of minutes to fill that out, we would appreciate it. Patty, I would like to thank you for joining us today and for sharing this microlearn series with us. And I'd like to thank all of our attendees for joining today, and we hope to see you here again soon.